MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, how we doing? Hope everybody had a good week. Kind of had a rough one yesterday, so I hope everybody had a better week than I did. Kind of screwed myself over. Made a couple mistakes, but it's all good, you know. All right, get myself out of my ears. All the volume is good. We had a little bit of interesting volatility off the 8:30 economic news. Overall, we're still pushing the supply, mainly in the other indices in ES, RTY, and YM, especially with RTY. But for NQ, it just gave us a wider range. And right before the open, right at the open, somewhat lifted the inventory. And I'm just gonna watch and see where we go from here. Getting a nice inventory response off of A1. And as usual, this is the trading section of this. Me taking trades is probably gonna be more off the mic. You know, if I see something special, then I'll call it out or whatever. Let's get to it. So far, holding that supply. At 140 and above. Some momentum right there at the open, right as I get my green light. If I missed that one, because it'll happen. I got my trigger right before the green light. Nice little momentum taking us into the overnight highs. Good strong push. Hopefully this momentum continues and give us a nice smooth Friday. We can be hopeful, right? Retest of the overnight high. negotiating here at that overnight high. Kept getting a supply response there at 156. Now we kind of lifted that supply. I just took a quick scalp there. Just off this little inventory supply box. Still testing the overnight high. Current session high is at 160. Trying to lift the supply, catching some resistance. Every time we try to, there's a quick little session high lift, but we're not giving up. Quick inventory response lift. Keep catching resistance at that supply area. Still negotiating up there. They're not gonna make it easy for our buyers. I feel like today we really are trying to push the supply, but we got, you know, some sellers that are just not making it easy. I do see a high likelihood that we do push it, but I can also see us going in the other direction. So I'm just taking what the market is giving me. I got two quick scalps in that range right there. Hopefully one side gives up and gives us some nice smooth order flow. At some point in this A period and through the B period. Still early in the game, early in the day. Kind of not interested in this area anymore. I don't want to stay out of the battle, you know. I'm getting signal still and triggers. I want them to go ahead and finish whatever they're doing in this area.
Yeah.
On one side to win out, and let's get this price moving. Let's get this market moving. So off of that last little micro print there, we should see a push and some continuation. That should give us some more momentum. we'll see if we actually get some follow through. We did lift the high one more time. But as soon as we do that, we get that supply response. And right back to the range. Back into some negotiating. All right. Kind of lets us know that we don't have a lot of participants with this price action. There's not a lot of participants, kind of like yesterday where we had a strong pre-market, a lot of participation, a lot of volume in the pre-market before the bell, for RTH. And then for A period, like A period probably through maybe halfway through C period, it was just up down until we finally got some decent movement to close out C period. Showing us that there were not a lot of participants in the market yesterday, and kind of saying the same thing today. Well, in the earlier half of RTH. So unless, the way that I'm feeling right now with this price action, unless we get a big momentum shift, a significant momentum shift, I could be done for the week. Because I'm not interested in the battle. I'm not interested in the battle today. So we are still lifting supply and lifting the inventory. Inventory is currently at that 156 area, riding the A1. But it's not taking us that far. It's taking us about maybe 10 points before we get the supply response. I have at least 3 waves that I drew. And I could have drew more. I just stopped because we're still inside it. I want to, what's already, the formation, the structure that we've already been given, I want that to play out before I start looking for new stuff. I don't want to crowd my charts too much. There's another lift of the high. And typically I like trading the range, but not so much this slow markup, because I call this a markup phase in terms of wholesale. As a wholesale, from a wholesale perspective, we're just marking up the supply and the inventory. So once we start, moving the supply and inventory, I like it to actually move and give us some momentum. But if we're not going to have momentum, I like to be inside of a nice little box, kind of like we had from like 9:30 to about 9:40. And I did play that area. All right, so I can clear all these drawings off the board now. And I want to see either some momentum higher or a significant pullback for me personally. It's just what I'm looking for. As I always say, trade your strategy. Don't make trading decisions based off of what I'm saying. Great trades come from within, so you have your best strategy. I'm just here sharing my experience. Maybe it'll trigger something within you to find the best thing that works for you. Let me be your mirror. All right, so still getting an inventory response off of A1. At this point, I wouldn't be mad if we broke below A1 and at least went into the other direction. We shall see it. I got a feeling we may continue for a while, but who knows? Got another inventory response off of A1. Lifted the supply, gave us a new high, then right back inside the range. Still continuing the tempo. Some nice scalping opportunities for sure. So if I still wanted to, trade out, that's what I'd be looking for. Like as soon as until I see otherwise, I would take my entry, try to get in at the best prices I could, and as soon as it breaks the high, I would take profit, sell into that strength. Keeping a tight stop loss. So I'm just looking for a structural, a structure change. And that's just making an adjustment based off of what the market is giving us. Of course, a lot of experience plays into that. Kind of makes me think about I'm watching the NBA playoffs now, and with the playoffs is a lot of it is about who can make the best adjustments. Like you have your talent on both sides. A lot of times the talent is evenly matched. Sometimes it's one-sided, but it doesn't matter how much talent you have on your team, since it's a 7-game series. It's it's not just one game. It's not just one and done. We're not just here really quickly. It's about who can make the best adjustments. And I feel like the same thing, get the same kind of, sentiment or same kind of environment with trading at times, right? You have your strategy. You want to stick to your strategy. Definitely you need consistency. But sometimes you got to make adjustments. And who's continually profitable versus who's not. A lot of times comes down to who can make the best adjustments without completely doing something different, because you don't want to do something completely different. Even with basketball, they don't want to completely just go to something completely different. You want to keep your core strategy there, but you may need to make an adjustment here or there based off of what the market is giving. All right, so we got some interesting movement there. I'm gonna go mic silent again and see if I can see how this plays out for my next signal. Did drop below the A1. Sort of gave us some slingshot structure. When we made that drop below the A1, took the inventory down to 150, 154. Let's see if the slingshot gives us momentum. Made a new high. Once again, an immediate supply response. Now we're starting to get some follow through. Finally broke down that supply. Quick inventory at 174. And that's a tiny 6-point range. Took another quick inventory. There's a supply scalp there. The way that this is being painted would leave let's kind of give the sentiment that, you know, some higher highs could be made. Of course, it doesn't have to be the case. I always want to make sure I put those disclaimers in there, so, you know, just reading off what the picture that's been painted. It doesn't mean that we have to actually apply the brush stroke, if that makes any sense. It's a decent little inventory zone below 174. that you would look to hold up. But the price action that we've been getting, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually break down. But we're still, we're picking up inventory inside of that zone. When we get down to the zone, I'm seeing the negotiating. So we're still getting a response down there. It's just a matter of, does it hold up? Does it give us another response to take us back to supply? And when we get there, what kind of response do we get from the supply? And I just really got 5 minutes before B period. So I'm officially in my B period breaking. More than likely I'm done for the day. I'm just going, just keeping it real. I'm actually done for the day. I'm not even gonna, this is not the kind of, so as of right now, it's not really the kind of, it's not giving me the energy to where I want to be really aggressive. Not saying that there won't be more opportunities. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities. I'm sure there'll be signals and triggers that I missed that in hindsight will work out, but I'm already, got a nice, I'm decently up for the day. With the exception of yesterday, I had a good week. But it is looking like this could potentially be one of those slow grinding days where we just keep climbing higher. ES is still climbing higher. Look though, I got ES up on my iPad. I can see it's still making higher highs and doing this thing. I'm sure RTY is following the same trend. That's the main one I was looking at. I'm actually starting to, it's like we're looking at some retracement with RTY. Starting to slow down. Before the open, it was leading the way. YM is still running hot. But I do also see the potential for NQ to go in the opposite direction. At some point throughout the day. I maintain the awareness that all things are possible. I don't get stuck on one bias. So off that little, while I was talking, that last little inventory response gave us a nice push. Nice lift of the supply. So we'll be coming back to retest the highs of that last shop that we set up below 180. Back inside the highs of that shop. That previous supply zone. I think that happened during my break period, so I couldn't have taken that trade even if I wanted to. Yep. And then more so than taking a break because of the volatility that, I've frequently seen come in at 10 a.m. my time. Taking a break also is helpful for just to clear my mental space, right? So at first, and this is a personal thing for me, not everybody's everybody's gonna have their own thing, right? But for me, taking that break, that 5-minute break, maybe sometimes it's longer. I started earlier, but sometime between 9:50 and 10 a.m. I'll take a break. They help, clear the energy, clear my mental space, and almost as a intra trading session, a mid trade window, reset, where I'm resetting, my energy. If I was making a lot of mistakes, it's a good time to reset and then come back in with a fresher mind, fresher mentality for the second half of my trading window. And to make sure that I'm reading the charts right and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. It's a good time to get a quick review in to see how my performance is, if I'm performing as I should. It's a good time to reset and just make sure everything is as it should be and make any adjustments that I may need to. Even if that adjustment is, okay, I made too many mistakes today, I need to be done for the day. So me taking that break in the middle of my trading window helps more than just trying to be out of the way when that B period, what I call the B force, when that volatility comes in. It gives us that, well done directional volatility that just wipes out both sides from a, micro perspective. And it's all tradable based off the strategy that you have. So I'm past that point, but like I said, I am done for the day. I'll go ahead and make that decision now. We are still grinding higher. So at this point, what I would be looking for is a significant pullback. Let's get a nice little inventory drop. We do have that previous supply around 188. It'd be wonderful if we're kind of slowing down with the supply up here at 200 at the whole number. So it'd be wonderful if we could actually get a nice little supply response that takes us back to create a 188 inventory zone. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. We're saying that supply kind of hold up there at 200. Lift it for about a point or two above 200. Got A1 sitting right above 188. Quick inventory around 195. So far, we're respecting that quick inventory. It's a nice little tight 5-point range. Back into that quick inventory. I would like to break, but so far we're negotiating down there. It was an attempt to drop the inventory, but we held it, maintained that quick inventory. It's starting to become seasoned. I'm not gonna lie, I'm biased to what I would like to see. But it would be, if I was still trading, it would be important for me not to start trading based off my bias. I would want to maintain the plan, the strategy. Be aware of the bias. Because if you let that bias seep into your subconscious, it can start making you, can lead to, bad trading decisions. That for me personally have, led to messing up accounts and taking bigger losses than I should have. So it helps me to be aware of the bias but also keep the plan and the strategy above the bias. So that I'm not making subconscious trading mistakes simply based off the bias that I have. That 195 inventory has become seasoned. See, we actually look for that to hold. Kind of makes that 188 area a little less appealing. A1 has been lifted to that one, like right below that 195 inventory. And I'll be looking to see if we continue to fail to lift the supply. What kind of response we get once we make it back to inventory. So now we're making an attempt to lift the supply, giving us a breakout. It took a little, it took some time there to create some liquidity up here. And what do we do with this liquidity? And we're gonna keep grinding higher. From a 3-minute perspective, we got some nice, it gives us a nice parabolic structure. And if we look at it, we zoom out even further to like a 30-minute, so even a 1 hour, I can see the picture that's painted there triggering some shorts to come in, and that's what that liquidity came. That's where we had a little, 5-point range that more than likely gave the shorts the picture that they wanted to see to start hitting that area. But we got that we had that little period of negotiating down there. Created a little liquidity. Now let's go ahead and run those stops. The stops were ran, and now we're taking another pause up here above 210. And again, once again, we're going to be looking to see if we continue lifting the high and giving us another tight window. Quick inventory off of 208, 210 to 208. Just lifted the supply to about 215, just eyeballing it. Just as its awareness to self, I didn't, in that little period of at the whole number at 200, I did not get a trigger that that I would have. I did not get a trigger to take it off in that area actually. Not unless I wanted to make an adjustment and be really aggressive there off of that inventory read. Something I normally don't do. I just stick to my strategy. And on the adjustments I make is if I'm going to accept the scalp or if I'm going to, hold the trade for longer. And that's just going to be based off of, that's typically the only kind of adjustments that I make. After making a lot of mistakes from making too many adjustments in the past. Like I say, again, everything is going to be based off of what works best for you. We're still grinding higher. Wholesale is taking advantage of these little pockets of liquidity. I would say the structure on ES is a bit cleaner. And this run up makes more sense with ES, with the way, you know, the picture is painted with ES. Got the typical flag patterns and all that stuff. Now, watching it, we know that, you know, this wasn't the case, but just looking at the hindsight capital picture of the NQ from a 3-minute perspective, it looks like, you know, we just shot straight up with just a couple of pauses, but didn't really get any real pullbacks. There were some micro pullbacks. It wasn't any big pullbacks, but we do know it didn't happen quickly at all. And that's what got me looking at tick charts, because I would know that I would see that the picture that I'm looking at from like a minute perspective, like just looking at it, no matter what, whether this is a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minutes, like it wouldn't really give me the full picture. So I, you know, started looking at the ticks, and I'd actually see more of the structure and how these time-based candles were printed, which for me personally just, you know, gave more of the narrative to what created that time-based structure. And that helped me to fine-tune my strategy. While at the same time learning so much more about NQ. To the point now to where, like, I'm pretty much, you know, I don't get any emotional responses to no matter what NQ does. I've seen a lot from it, you know. I say, like, I used to have times where NQ start doing this thing, start going volatile, or traders start going against me or whatever, and then I have the human response, right? I have all the physiological, my heart start racing, or I may start sweating a little bit. I don't have any of that anymore at all. Like, I'm just completely like emotionless when it comes to trading almost. I am not gonna say 100%, but it's up there, right? Sometimes every once in a while, you know, I get a little excitement, but it's not nothing that serious. But, you know, what has, you know, contributed to that is just the fact that I've been watching it so long, and I've been studying it for, you know, how much I've been studying it. You know, fear comes from the unknown, right? So there's not a lot of unknowns that I have now. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen within the next second, to the next minute, to the next hour, right? I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I can have a general idea of what NQ or any of these other, you know, NQ specifically, what it should or shouldn't do, just because of the time that I put into watching it, you know, in action, and, you know, breaking down the charts and doing deep studies on NQ, which has helped me, you know, read other charts regardless of the name, you know, more efficiently, and then not, you know, get caught up in emotional trading as much. And usually now the mistakes I make is not based off of like anything like FOMO or anything. It's mostly just lack of attention, lack of focus, lack of awareness. You know, those are the kind of mistakes that I make now. And then that's where I use my journal, and then I use my daily reminders and all that stuff to kind of make sure that, you know, to address that awareness and that focus as much as I can to mitigate those mistakes. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and close up my shop for the day. I'm at the end of my trading window. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Hope you have a good rest of your session, a good weekend. And I forgot to say this at the beginning, but happy Cinco de Mayo to anybody that celebrates that. And until the next time, trade it easy.